After a billion-dollar hailstorm hits an area, your focus should be on running your business, not on insurance claims. We have helped streamline the insurance process for hundreds of roofing contractors across the U.S., and we can do it for yours too. Visit us online at c3adjusters.com and learn how we can help save you time and get claims paid faster.
Good afternoon, Hail Stalkers. This is Derek Klein, and I am coming to you from the Hail Palace on Saturday, July 21st. And we are excited about the hail forecast today. First of all, special shout out, as always, to C3 Group for sponsoring these videos. We put a lot of work into these videos. I don't know if you've noticed or not, but I want to give them a special shout out for sponsoring this and making this possible. Make sure, go like their page. There's going to be a day when you're going to need a great PA, and I would encourage you to reach out to them. They can do some pretty amazing stuff. In fact, actually, I saw a claim the other day turned to, I think, 14 million, maybe a little bit more than that. So the C3 Group, those guys are pretty special, and some pretty cool stuff coming up with us on some hail research that we're going to be doing with these guys. So pretty cool stuff. Make sure to like their page, make sure to follow them, and I think you will not regret it at all. So again, today's hail forecast, we're going to talk a lot about the southeast, and we're going to recap what happened yesterday. But before we get started here, let's just take a quick look at how you can get our notifications and watch our live stream anytime, anywhere, any place. So we have a mobile app. You can download it in the App Store or the Google Play Store. When you have it downloaded, it actually has a little lightning bolt right over here in the bottom right corner. Just click on that guy right there, and what's going to happen is it's going to pop up a little box right here, and all you have to do is click on that and turn it sideways, and voila, you get our live videos. You can watch everything from right here. You can also watch these through Facebook. You can watch these through YouTube. You can watch these through Periscope. We're pushing these out live in every possible location, so that way we can get the forecast out to you whenever you need it. Also, remember that we do live coverage as well. We did a couple of different live break-ins and a forecast update yesterday on a more active afternoon that we had yesterday. Today has that potential. We're going to have to watch it closely. We'll see what actually happens as we go through the afternoon hours. But also, make sure that you get notified. Okay, so when we go live, you got to know about it, otherwise you're going to miss it. So real simple, just on the left-hand side, we've got a menu for notification options under account settings. All you have to do is just select how you want to receive them. So do you want to get them on your mobile app? Do you also want to get them on an email? You can do that as well. And then just select the regions that you'd like to receive those at. And you can update this information at any time. So you can turn it on and off. If you get tired, maybe you're busy, and you don't need the notifications for a little while, just come up here and check them off, and voila, they are gone. So it's very, very simple to keep track of all the storms, all the live updates, everything that's going on here in the Hail Palace, and we're pretty active, pretty busy. So here's a look at yesterday, though, just kind of the recap. So pretty impressive day for July. It's not very often in the southeast that you get hail. So typically we monitor what's called lapse rates, and the temperature difference from the surface to above our heads doesn't really change a whole lot in the southeast. And even harder to get is the jet stream. It's hard to get that jet stream to really dig down to the south, and and it did it yesterday, and it did it really well. So we produced two different 4-star maps. We also, this is kind of crazy, we produced a 3-star map all the way up in Edmonton, Canada. How about that? So way, 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 way up north also had some hail. That one produced some golf ball size hail. But Madison, Indiana, I saw you guys were rocked yesterday. Louisville, Tompkinsville, Kentucky, a lot of other places in between. Hail up to 4-inch in diameter. This is quarter size hail. This is not baseballs. I know somebody's going to put that in my mouth. But 164,000, I don't think I have the chat on here. 164,963 houses impacted with hail yesterday. So quite a few there being impacted. And here's a look at all of the pictures that we found. I think this one's one of my favorites right up here. Check this one out. That is one heavy hailstone she's trying to hold up there for the camera. Man, that's got to be heavy, right? So that was actually taken in Madison, Indiana. This one I think was Churchill Downs. So out watching the ponies race yesterday, and had some big hail there. And several other locations also receiving a lot of large hail. as we went through the afternoon. Here's a look at our map from yesterday. You can see all the way from the Tennessee border all the way up to southern Indiana. We had pockets of large hail, several of them actually. This one was one of the more intense ones right in here that produced quite a bit of baseball size hail. This little storm up here by Madison, when it got going, it went to town, dropped some very, very severe hail. A storm by Louisville actually went through a couple of different cycles as it went through its track. And some of the largest hail was just to the west of Louisville, but it kind of recycled back up and dropped some 2-inch hail and maybe even a little bit larger than that across parts of Louisville as well. So we made this a 4-star map. It's kind of spread out. So that's why it's a 4-star map. I think if it was a little more confined, we probably would have made it a 5-star. And I would have not been wearing, well, I would have been wearing pants. You just wouldn't have been able to see them on the video today. So this one a little bit of a surprise last night. So this is actually a combination of two different storm systems that actually affected Arkansas. So we had some morning convection that actually went through Mount Home, Arkansas. I think for the most part, you're probably looking at penny-size hail, excuse me, in Mount Home. But there is a few pockets. There might have been a couple of stones that were golf ball size, okay? So, but I think for the most part, you're looking at smaller hail. Little Rock, we had a bunch of quarter size hail, but there was some pockets of larger hail northwest or northeast of Little Rock. And then in the Rogers area, all of northwest Arkansas, a single supercell dropped down out of Missouri from Neosho, Missouri, and just rocketed straight south almost all the way past Fayetteville, and dropping up to softball size hail. So some pretty significant hail from that one. Here's a look at that. Check out the window busted out here. Here's a windshield busted out right here. Look at all this. Lots of tennis ball size hail. And that thing is massive right there. And here's a look at our map from yesterday again. This stuff right up in here occurred yesterday morning. This also occurred yesterday morning. And this stuff right here was yesterday evening, and then this was way, way, way overnight. Even some stuff over here right in northeast Oklahoma. Some of that stuff only good for a data loss, maybe a dinner or two in a car, but some of this stuff right up in here was pretty massive. Pretty massive stuff. So what are we talking about for today? We've got a couple of areas again. Well, really one area that we're watching for the most part. We do have an area up here to the north in North and South Dakota. Haven't highlighted that in this forecast, but there is an area there that we're going to have to watch, and there could be some potential hail here up there. But this is kind of our focus for today. So we had a complex of thunderstorms that has sagged south. It's now moving into Florida, in the Florida Panhandle, and so that has allowed the northern part of this risk area to actually become unstable again. So, so we think with that instability in place, we've got a frontal system that sagged across. That trough is still kicking down. It's actually the low pressure itself has moved up into the Ohio area. And so it's swinging the jet stream to the south underneath it, and it's causing the instability to increase, and that's going to give us the chance for some larger hail where this instability is maximized. And I think we might actually have two different pockets that we're going to have to watch. Okay, so I think there's going to be one that's probably going to fire right up here off of the Appalachian Mountains, and that's probably going to happen sooner than later. Okay, so we're talking over the next hour, 2 hours possibly, if it hasn't already started to fire right here across the Appalachians. So those mountains right there causing a little bit of lift, and that's going to cause storms to go ahead and fire. And we do have the instability in place. We have the lapse rates, which is the cold air aloft, that will cause a potential for some large hail. Then we've got a second area right here. So we're talking about just to the west of Atlanta, and they may actually fire and extend into Atlanta. So we're going to have to watch that really close. But there's basically a boundary that's kind of been left across right through here. And it's left from those storms that rush south overnight. The instability is rushing back up and then actually pulling in behind it. And so where that boundary is, I think storms are going to fire for sure on that. And I think those are going to be some pretty serious hail producers as well. So we're going to jump into that and take just a little bit more look into it here. But for the afternoon hours, again, Greer, just to the south of Charlotte, Greer, Spartanburg, Greenville, that whole area, we're talking 15% right there off of the Appalachians, 15% from Atlanta back here to the west towards the Alabama border. So I think we've got a pretty good shot in that area. And here's a look at the models, and this is kind of what I was talking about with that instability pulling up to the north, and then watch as it pulls in back behind that morning complex, and then boom, here go those thunderstorms. Probably just to the west of Atlanta. More thunderstorms fire up in South Carolina. We go through the afternoon and evening hours, and even some pretty intense stuff possible late tonight in South Carolina, more towards central South Carolina. So we're talking about Columbia, South Carolina. So we'll have to keep an eye on that and see how that actually pans out. But let's break it down by individual location here. So we're going to take a look at Atlanta first. So max hail size this afternoon from Atlanta to the west. So the western sides of Atlanta, I think you've got a better shot than the eastern sides. We're going to go 2 inch in diameter for the maximum hail size there. About a 15% chance that you could see quarter size hail or larger in Atlanta for today, okay? And the chance of a 3-star map, so we're talking at least a decent hail map here, at about 15% in the Atlanta metro area. So we're talking again Atlanta, and really back towards like, I think it's Douglasville, back to the west of Atlanta. Those are going to be some of the areas that we're going to watch. And timing-wise, 4 to 9 p.m. looks like it's going to be the time that things will really start to kind of fire and brew up. By 9 p.m., everything kind of shifts off to the south. Looks like it might even merge into a line, and the hail threat really has a tendency to go down when we start to make that line. So as we head off to the east, though, let's take a look at South Carolina, those storms that are going to fire up off of the Appalachians. So we're talking about potential for up to 2 inch hail. So there is going to be some large hail with some of those storms as well. And we're going to do a similar, I think maybe hedging bets just a little bit higher than Atlanta in South Carolina. The instability is a little bit lower though. So there's a little bit less in some parts of the atmosphere over here, and a little bit more in Atlanta, and then some things are a little bit better in South Carolina than Atlanta. So it's kind of the, you know, not a whole lot of difference, but I think we'll kind of end up with the same results. About a 15% chance that we'll see some quarter size hail or larger in that area, and then about a 15% chance that we'll actually produce a 3-star map in that area. And over the last couple of days, just to give you an idea, on 3-star maps or greater, we've actually produced a total of 5 maps that have been greater than 3 stars over the last 2 days. So yesterday we had 2 4-star maps. We had 1 3-star map, which was in Canada, in Edmonton, and then the day before we had the 2 maps that were 3-star, the one in Kansas City Metro, and then we had a 3-star map that we produced over towards Quincy, right up and down the Missouri-Illinois state line. So that's kind of the breakdown. Let's take a look at the forecast going forward. So again, the forecast brought to you by the C3 Group, and we really appreciate them for sponsoring our 5-day forecast. And here's what it looks like as we go through the again today. If you combine everything together, we talked about the 15% chance for a 3-star. You combine it together, I think we got about a 20% chance that we're going to produce a 3-star map. For the most part, I think max hail size probably coming in at around 2 inch in diameter. And there are a lot of people in the area where we are forecasting hail today. So if we can get some decent hail going, these numbers will go up because, well, it's going to hit a lot of people. So that's the biggest plus, the biggest takeaway I think that we can get from today is that high population. So as we go through the afternoon, we are going to have to watch that high population. Into tomorrow, everything from this storm system sags to the south. So it's going to get into northern Florida. We lose a lot of the dynamics though that we had. The lapse rates kind of go away. The wind shear is a lot less than it is today. So we're going to really have to lower things. I do think we'll see some more storms up in North Dakota and South Dakota as we go through the day tomorrow, possibly northwestern Minnesota. So being that it's a fairly rural area, we're going to lower the chances of a 3-star map to 5%. And I do think that we will see some 2-inch hail, maybe even larger, up in North Dakota. It's a pretty good storm system that's moving across that area, so I think we'll produce some pretty big hail. But again, the population being low, and that's what actually results in a low 3-star chance as we go through the afternoon hours for your Sunday afternoon. So let's take a look at Monday here, and this is where it gets kind of boring. We're going basically 0. You might be able to throw in a 1% chance for a 3-star map. Small hail, I think there'll probably be a hail report. It's kind of hard not to produce any hail reports this time of year. So maybe some 1.25 inch, some quarter size hail, something like that. Population all fairly low. We're going to kind of keep things the same as we go through the afternoon on Tuesday, and it really doesn't get any better as we get into Wednesday. There are some signs as we kind of look down the road a little bit further that we could see some larger hail as we go into Thursday and Friday of next week. So we'll keep an eye on that and see if the pattern's going to make a switch on us and try to give us a more active pattern than what we're going to have the first part of next week. So that's a look at your 5-day hail forecast from HailTrace. So make sure to follow our post on Facebook, again, so you can get updated. I don't know if you guys know this, Facebook does hide a lot of what we post from you, but it's real simple to fix that. If you're on our page, just go up and click on follow, and just click see first, and anytime we post anything, it'll make sure to show up on your news feed, so you get all the free cool stuff that we're posting live. And as always, if there's anything that we can do for you, info@hailtrace.com is a great way to reach out to us. Message us on Facebook. We also have messaging on our website that you can contact us, or you can call us. Our number is 855-334-4245. I don't know any other ways to allow you guys to get a hold of us, but if you know one, we're open. We want you to be able to easily get a hold of us, and we appreciate you guys for following us and everything that you do, allowing us to do what we love. So again, we appreciate you for tuning in today, and let's watch it. Let's see what's going to happen in Atlanta and Greer, South Carolina today, and I hope you have a great day.